Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to CGI Sunday. We're gonna host our guest in a few minutes, Jose Ibrahim. And let me just get a few things sorted here, and we're about to get started. All right. Thank you for joining us. Leave some comments if you like. Ask things. I'm eager to see what you find about our conversation today. So make sure you interact in the comments, and let me see who is about to join our call. Hey Gillies, how's it going, buddy? Opa, Walter Silva is here as well. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Not sure my mic is working or my headphone. I don't hear you guys. Give me 1 second. All right, if you can say something. Ooh, I don't hear it. Let me see if let me just play a YouTube video here real quick. Oh yeah, I can hear the YouTube video. Wait. Okay, I can hear the YouTube video. Let me just leave and I'll be back in a second. Oh, let me try to fix here.
Is it better
Speakers. I'll swap
like
to
that? Do you hear me? Hello, hello.
Opa, I can hear you loud and clear, buddy. Am I saying
Good.
your name right, Gilles
Yes,
or
it is Gilles in French, but
Gilles?
no worries.
That's awesome. Thanks for joining us today, Gilles. And we have our friend that's gonna join us in a few, Joseph Ibrahim, and we are just, getting started with CGI Sunday. Thanks so much for joining. We also have Walter. Walter was in one of our calls yesterday. Oi, Walter. Thanks for joining us. Mhm. So today we're gonna have a brief conversation with Ibrahim about lighting and workflows involving ComfyUI for lighting, just so we can get to know each other and see what his research is about. I'm very excited to learn more with him. And yeah, he's gonna be in any minute. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna get my ComfyUI running and also open up Houdini. And let me just triple check if I'm recording. Oh, okay, so we are indeed recording, which is amazing. Uh, Gilles, are you Griff on Discord by any chance?
No, I'm Avigil on Discord.
Ah, okay, perfect. Because someone was messaging me, and I never know if the Discord name is different from the Zoom name of the person, so that's why I'm asking.
I don't know what's my. Ah, yeah, okay, that's my real name in Zoom.
All
Uh,
good. That's great. Ah, cool. So we can just have some chat while we wait for a guest. Um, Last week we released a new version, and yesterday we did also a very cool conversation with the Brazilian community about how they're using ComfyUI and getting to see and also sharing the project with them, which was pretty interesting. A lot of we had one person that was using ComfyUI commercially, which was pretty interesting to hear some of their experiences. Um, but we also had people a little bit more skeptical about the use of AI in production, especially how it's being used in some commercials. So sometimes the assets just kind of don't look like how they should, or the animation is just bogus. So it's interesting to see what people think about AI being applied to commercials or TV shows. I can say that from my experience when I traveled to Hong Kong, um, I saw way too many ads that were AI, and some of them had like very weird artifacts. So someone from 3D, I always wonder myself, why is this showing up, right? But there's like a threshold, right, of what's acceptable. So, uh, and AI is already accepted. Clearly, like there's no conversation about it. Like we see thousands of TikTok views, thousands of likes, and it's just a matter of getting to the actual full theater release. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I feel like this year we're definitely gonna get some theater release with AI, especially with the C dance model that I saw earlier today. It was very impressive to see some of that. Maybe I can just kind of open up and just kind of show a little bit about that.
Uh, what Seedance? I didn't see that.
Oh,
What?
let's pop it up and take a look together. Oi, Michael, thanks for joining us.
Hey, how are you?
All good, all good. Did you by any chance message me on private on Discord?
Yes, that was me.
Oh, okay, perfect. Just trying to get to see who is who. Perfect. Awesome. All right, let me also get Joseph in. Hey, Joseph, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, uh, hold on.
I don't find it here. Oh, Joseph, wait. You're right. 1 second getting Zoom to work. All good, buddy. Take your time. No rush. Opa, o Walter vai estar. Is gonna follow up as we go. Try to find the Twitter thread that I found about C Dance earlier today, just so I can find the right website. C Dance. La da da. Yeah, I don't know if I have the right web. Oh, yeah, Joseph. Yeah, I just allowed you to share your screen. You want to open up your camera or you're good? And I don't know if you have a mic as well, but you should. Oh, we can see your screen. That's beautiful. What's up?
Hey, sorry, I'm not the greatest at screen sharing and Zoom calls. Can you see
No
my,
worries.
can you see, because I'm trying to do it from two separate screens, like my camera and my computer. Can you see my screen currently as
Yeah,
well?
not yet because you just closed it, but it's
Okay,
good. Before we start showing your screen, maybe you want to introduce yourself. We can have a little conversation,
sure.
and
Um,
then yeah, thanks for joining us, man. Happy Sunday.
hey, happy
Uh,
Sunday.
Thanks for spending some time with us. We got a few people in the crowd today.
That's great.
Uh, some some people joined us, which I'm very happy to see.
Oh, well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want to?
How do you usually start? I mean, I have some notes, but let me know how you want to
Absolutely.
start
So
starting.
I want to introduce you to the crowd. First of all, I just want to give you a minute for you to introduce yourself, maybe talk about some experiences,
Sure,
and then we can talk about why what we're showing today.
of course. Um, okay, where do we start? I guess I'm Joseph Ibrahim. I've been a lighting artist, PD for roughly 16 years now. I started, I've been mostly commercials. I've kind of done the advertising route for a while. And yeah, mostly in New York, some in Montreal. Had a lot of good times in Montreal. And I am currently kind of straddling AI development with visual effects.
That's pretty
And,
exciting.
yeah, it's kind of like opened a few doors that weren't available before, you know?
Interesting, especially from someone who is used to working VFX production as a lighter, right?
Yeah.
It's such an interesting job to be a lighter, right? You get all the assets, you gotta replicate the lighting of a special condition.
Well,
There's so much that goes into it.
I think with New York, just New York production especially, it's always been you're dropped in the middle of a fire and you have to be careful not to get set ablaze. But yeah, it's a lot of fun
And how did you start investigating ComfyUI? What piqued your interest?
That's a good question. I think I saw it early on developing with Nuke, and at the time I was kind of just paying attention to a lot of the tools that were starting out. I used Midjourney when it started. Midjourney when it started was, I mean, honestly, I don't think it was a practical tool. I only used it as kind of like a sketchbook, like to get ideas as to what I was gonna work on personally, not professionally. And so like my own personal concept art, I guess. And so I saw that ComfyUI was kind of an extension of that, but I didn't really love the idea of taking other people's work. So like artist first tools really appealed to me. And let's see, maybe around the beginning of somewhere in the pandemic, I started using Houdini. And then maybe a year or two after that, I started to get into, generative AI stuff. And Diffusion Light, which is what I'm going to show, it started to become something that I was using just like with personal projects. And then, it's like one thing feeds another, like, and at work, just like everybody else, I would watch a lot of YouTube tutorials, but sometimes you don't have time for YouTube tutorials.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so AI started to be like when ChatGPT came out and everything. Most of the time, I'd say like 98% of the time, it was inaccurate. But the 2% of the time that it gave me some, useful tips, I would kind of embellish that. And then as I went on with visual effects and AI, it became more of like a pipeline friend or like an assistant. And
that's such an interesting relationship, right? Of not necessarily a companion, but like a sidekick, which can be very powerful.
Like honestly, like I'll be pretty frank about this, is that freelancing, especially as a lighter in New York, it's kind of like you're on a project, you go to another studio. Chances are you know people, but a lot of times you're kind of like, figuring it out on the fly. And having like a companion, not a companion, that's the weirdest word, like a assistant that knows the landscape a little bit, and I don't have to like pull up a screen. That's pretty invaluable. And so yeah. Do you have any questions
Exciting.
before we start showing stuff? Or
No, I think we can dive right into it. Unless someone from the Michael was commenting for us like it got a lot better recently. Yeah, using chat. Maybe I believe he's talking about ChatGPT, right? I was even trying to get some vex recently with ChatGPT. It's not very ideal, I'll say that. But unless
I
you
have
have like a
so
system
many
prompt.
thoughts on this particular aspect of. I think it's way more powerful, at least in my experience with visual effects TDs in New York. The pace of how do I put this? This is not a discredit to anybody that I've worked with. It's the pace of production is so fast, and people don't always have time to kind of experiment with tools that are outside of their wheelhouse. Like, I'm not talking about the new nuke or the latest update with Houdini. I'm talking about like, Claude Code. Like it's so powerful, but like unless you have a reason to kind of go there, it's not always. But with a lot of the stuff that I've been kind of developing on my own, that's sort of where things are going. And I don't know. I'll show you.
Cool, let's dive into it. And I just want to say, I was reading this week that I think like from all commits of GitHub, 4% are from Claude code or like are from bot or like from automation tools. And it's very surprising, right? We're seeing people adopting it. We're seeing people commenting, seeing value on this type of support. And it's exciting. Like I also saw a while ago someone, I think Radi Sidious, which is a Houdini guy as well, like he's building like his AI assistant in Houdini, which was also very interesting. So uh it's very very refreshing and to see people experiment with those tools. But I also gonna double down on something you mentioned, which is when you are in production, the pace is so fast, you don't have time to look around, man. It's crazy. It's such
I
a
know,
tough.
but it's like,
You have
part
to
of
at the end of the
it's
day.
actually, I feel like it's part of the reason I got into it. But at the same time, the longer you're into it, there needs to be like, okay, here we go. I'm going to try and sum this up as fast as possible.
Okay, I'll go for it.
Especially during the pandemic, when everything became so remote. And with my experience in New York, where things are more remote based, the ability to run over to someone and just quickly ask, hey, what material X, like, how did you set that up? Like that ability to do that is from my standpoint not as robust as it used to be. So like being able to kind of get that out of the way with a digital assistant, is phenomenal. And then you ask the big questions, and then you bring that to your supervisor or whatever you're going to do. All right, so let's start.
I love that. Cool perspective on this topic. Thanks for sharing it, Ibrahim. So, what are we talking today? We're talking Diffusion Light? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, I've got a couple things on my sleeve. Let's see
Interesting.
if I can.
Yeah, feel free to share your screen and maybe you want to share, maybe show the paper or just kind of where people can download whatever you're going to show. We can start there.
All right.
Okay, I'm bringing you in.
Let me just.
Recording in progress.
Oh boy. There we go. Ooh. Hold on a second.
Just gotta mute the second computer.
Yep. Better?
I can still hear the feedback.
Okay.
I think I can move to the second computer. Give me a second. I'm gonna mute the one that is sharing.
Got it?
Okay, I muted. Can you say something?
Yeah, good?
Perfect, we're good.
All right. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
All right. So what do we
Give
got?
me just one hot second. Let me also share the screen here. Just so I can start record as well, because I lost a recording yesterday. I don't want to miss it today. So let's go. All right. So what do you have there for us? Is Diffusion Light. What is
So
it
we got
about?
this diffusion light. I'm not gonna say that I made diffusion light because I did not. It's been, and I'm not even like, I think there was a diffusion light one. It was super heavy, and then somebody forked diffusion light, the repo, and made it available for ComfyUI, which was fantastic. And then, you know, I've been messing around with diffusion light for a couple months, and part of the way we got to this thing that we're doing now, let's see, let's pop an image in here.
I just placed a couple links on the chat for the folks about the paper and the GitHub page. Fun.
Oh, nice. Okay. So pop a new image in here. All right. So what am I showing? I'm showing this. So did you, which paper are you showing? Are you showing the deterministic?
No, I'm not showing anything. I just placed on the chat the diffusion light and the GitHub for that. So
Okay.
people can take a look. But I'm not showing. We're looking at your
I'm going to
screen.
send you. I'm going to try and, oh boy, here we go. That's the wrong one. So what, I won't bore you with the paper. I'll actually link the paper later on. But there's this paper. It's from a AI company called Thinking Machines. And they have a lot of research on LLMs. And
Okay.
AI, you know how, like, I'm going to try and explain this like a lighter. Basically, you know, sometimes when you're lighting and rendering and you're throwing stuff on a farm, depending on what machine you're on or what facility or how well the pipeline is running, you don't, every once in a while, you'll see inconsistencies in your render, you know, between small variations that you'll have to like adjust.
I see.
And the same thing happens in LLMs as far as it's called like determinism. It's just the idea of consistent variables across different, you know, things that you're evaluating. And so I came across this paper. It was about keeping things consistent in AI across different variables while using LLMs. And I've been reading a lot of robot papers and different AI papers recently, and this one ended up experimenting with, and it keeps frames consistent across ComfyUI. And it led to me creating this JetBlock Optimizer, you know, thing. And it not only, I think it might actually speed up things a bit, but what it does consistently is keep things consistent. And that's kind of a big deal, especially when you're working with this. So,
And that's a custom node that you created yourself,
yes,
right?
and I used Claude code and a bunch of LLM papers and kind of repurposed that. A lot, and I also used some NVIDIA research, and there's just a lot in that landscape right now between how people are training their robots and um, and research that's being used on like for training robots, that the way those videos are optimized can also, some of that stuff from NVIDIA can also be used in ComfyUI. It can be used in visual effects, you know, and it's really like an abyss of information there. So
Cool.
this is,
Oh, you hit the play button there.
yep,
Oh,
hit the
that's
play button.
cool.
It's going pretty fast. And basically it's keeping the variables consistent throughout, which some people might just kind of find that boring. It is to some degree, but it's extremely helpful.
I see. And what are we generating here? So that jet thing is optimized, is speeding up the process with Diffusion Light that is running on your ComfyUI.
Yes, yes. And
And
so
what are we
Diffusion
getting?
Light is running locally. I'm
Okay.
creating an HDR with Diffusion Light.
Ah,
And it's my node that I added is creating variables that are consistent. So if you go into, I have like a suite of these tools. They're on my GitHub. And, you know, they are little, interesting tidbits to play with. But what it does is this determinism thing, it keeps things ultra consistent. Actually, I'm going to go really quick. There we go. Okay, here we go. Defeating non-determinism in LLM inference.
okay.
And
That's an interesting paper.
And so this paper essentially talks about, where's a good example? It's quite long. Well, if you read the whole thing, it basically gives you examples about keeping things consistent from image to image and from, like each point, each node along the workflow consistent. So, questions?
No, I think it's very interesting. I'm definitely gonna take a look because we had issues where I would generate something ComfyUI and then regenerate with the same seed in Houdini, and I would get like a different image.
Yes.
So I think there's
So you
like
get what I'm talking about. This is
of
not like,
course.
I'm not in outer space.
And it's just kind of we are hitting the same seed, but like for example, I understand that the empty latent node has a seed because that generates some noise, and the case sampler has a different seed, but we don't see the seed on the empty latent. So I love the idea of like having something that can support consistency or like control of the overall seed of a different set
Yeah, and I mean, the
tools.
beauty of this node is not, I'm only using Diffusion Light as an example, but like, pretty much, let's see, what are some of the other workflows I've used it on?
Oh, we got a guest on one of our folks on the chat just sent your GitHub here called ComfyUI Deterministic Toolkit. Is that it?
Yep,
Oh, you got it right. Thanks for sharing this here. Appreciate it. I tried to take a look, I couldn't find, so I appreciate a ton.
cool. And so, yeah, this node, this JetBlock node can be used in different contexts. Like this whole thing is an LTX 2 thing that just came out with for image generation. I'll use it as a backplate maker, and
Okay.
and yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not going to bore you by setting this one up, but yeah, I think it's. Do you have any questions before we move to the next thing? Because this is kind of.
No, I want to see the diffusion light one. So if you want to explain to us a little bit what's happening on this network.
Sure. All right. So yeah, it basically creates a series of exposures, and then you can save out your map at the end here.
Okay.
Download that, you bring it in a nuke, and then you combine it as an HDR and stitch it
And
together.
okay, and does it okay, so it generates so the diffusion light's going to generate different images with different exposures, and they
Yeah. Here, look,
also
these are the exposures right here. So
okay.
as you go through, you've got all your exposures.
And is it
And
generating a HDRI map based on what?
oh, well, that's the fun part, right? Like, go over here. Let's see. I'm just gonna pull random images. No, that's a logo.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's from the other one.
So the idea is that if I don't have an HDRI for like
Bingo.
a set that I have.
That's absolutely, yes, that's the thing.
Okay.
If you don't
so
have an HDRI for a set, which happens so much, you bring that the image, your backplate in here, and then you basically generate your HDR based on the backplate. So you're creating that from one image.
Okay, that's like a big saver. Like I've been in so many different productions that we didn't have like a specific plate for a shot. Sometimes it was missed in set production. So it's interesting to see that as a solution. We have someone on the chat asking how your tool helped this workflow. He's asking, do you have a better result by using the jet proportion?
You generate 3 different images. Well, you can take in 3 different images and then create 3 different HDRs. Like here is the one that it just generated based off of that background image that we were using.
Okay.
I mean, like you generate one image and then change the exposure for each, right?
Yes.
It's how you
Different.
do your pre-multiply. So you said your tool was meant to have consistency, but
Yes.
you have only one image. So I don't understand how it's helpful for this workflow.
Well, for this workflow, it's okay. Maybe it's a little bit less for this workflow than an image sequence. But generally speaking, this also this speeds it up. So if I take it out, you'll know there's a difference. Hold on.
Yeah, I think Joseph was mentioning to me in another conversation that this Jetson, it speeds up how it loads the model on the memory of a video card, and it also has deterministic tools, right? So it's a combo, and it has different nodes that you can use and mix and match for different scenarios.
That's really cool. And I will check out how it works inside. It's look like really core engineering stuff. Like, do you change like how it works generally? Like you change uh, the how the model is loaded directly with one node, but the workflow doesn't change. So
Yeah, the workflow is this is a basic workflow that comes with Diffusion Light. My thing is keeping things consistent and speeding it up. Like I've basically created a suite of these JetBlock nodes, and then you pipe it into the model. And then from here, it's pretty straightforward. You're just like off to the races. There's different types you can do. And I also have...
It works for LDL or all type of model. Yeah, you can choose.
It works on top of it. So yeah, it works. I mean, I haven't tried every variation because there are so many.
Yeah.
But it works for a lot of them.
Wow.
Okay.
And then so like for this one, you can like go down and you can pick like the different optimization strategy.
Okay, worth giving a try.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I don't think from our end. So you want to show us this HDRI working somewhere, or you want to move to a different example? What would you...
I mean, it's pretty straightforward from here. Like you just combine the HDR and then you stick it in your lighting environment, which I mean, I'm pretty sure most people have done at this point. I was thinking we'd move to the next.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can do that. And I can definitely see like from this here, when you plugged in the Jetson, it just generated much faster. And like the one without it just kind of keep lingering and lingering and lingering. So
Yeah,
interesting to see this happening and working.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to play around with it. I mean, honestly, in this exact workflow, it takes more time to learn the settings of Diffusion Light than it does the optimizer.
I see.
But yeah,
Okay.
in here this is the last thing I'll say about Diffusion Light is this is where you accept you change your exposure bracket. So like you go -6, whatever, and then you can add different, depending on how many exposures you want, you add it there.
Okay. Joseph, let me ask you about something. There's a discussion about Comfy being able to export 8 bits or 16 bits or 32 bits image. Do you have any commentary about this? From what I heard, there is a suite of nodes you can install that allows you to, control the type of export. Do you have any experience dealing with this type of difference, or just question, just asking around?
Well, let's see. I mean, I think the KJ nodes have like an image export option that you can do EXR from, and I think that's probably as far as I've gotten with.
Okay.
But
The
yeah,
images you're
you
saving from
definitely
Diffusion Light, they are JPEGs or they are EXRs that you're saving?
EXRs.
Okay, fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's oh, wait a minute. Nope. I lied. This particular workflow is PNG, but you're bringing it in and making an EXR in the next step.
Okay, got it.
Ready?
Yeah, and someone's in the chat is saying like how useful that can be to be done and see using live rendering or with Solaris in Houdini, how that would be super useful.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to talk about in the next thing.
All right.
All right.
That's
cool.
a great segue then.
Cool. Let's shut this down. Okay, I'm back. Can you see me?
Yeah, and I can see Houdini open.
All right. So I'll start with GitHub. Oh, great. All right. You know what? I'll use a different one. Okay. In like real-time navigation.
Okay, I can see GitHub. Okay.
All right. Okay. This is called Synapse, and I am in the middle of, there's some stuff in here that I'm filing for patents for, so I'll just say that. It's
That's very cool.
it's a bridge to Houdini from Claude Code that has persistent memory. So it's pretty useful in a lot of this is my little thing. It's an AI that helps you touch, see, and remember everything in your Houdini scene. And it has persistent memory and it tracks your stuff across sessions. So, yeah.
And how do you see that helping you on either this example on your day to day?
You'll see. I'm gonna
All right, let's roll. I'm curious.
roll here. But nothing like a live demo. Great.
And take your time, man. We are between friends here, so no rush.
So this is the Python panel. You put in your thingy here. Yeah. And you see yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, I can see Cloud Code thinking there.
Cool. It works on the terminal and the desktop version of Claude. Make a basic scene with top, light, and blue. Green, yeah, I know.
Oh, I see a mantra flipbook happening over there.
Yeah, it's talking to Houdini through that port right now.
Interesting. I was talking with a friend. He was helping me with Codex a while ago. Just setting up Codex to not do that, but being able to create some nodes. So very interesting to see this.
Yeah,
You're gonna be controlling Houdini out of like you're asking an agent to control Houdini.
Yeah, I mean this type of thing exists with like Blender MCPs and Claude, but it's not, that's different. It's more, this is less. Okay, so there's two different ways to look at these types of things. I'm essentially creating an assistant, but there's like the assistants where it's just a telephone line and all it does is pass through one variable. But this is more like it remembers things between sessions. And so the memory is persistent and it has its hands in more aspects um, of the session.
Got it.
And you can, now it's like talking to you about the param names. I mean, this whole scene, this like whatever was set up before, that was all constructed via this type of back and forth.
Ah, okay. So it created this Solaris network for us
Yes,
where we
there
can
we go.
apply
Just
it.
cleaned it up. And then you have like log, you can search. And if you pull up, have you ever used Claude Code?
Not yet.
It's kind of like the more, okay, so Claude Desktop in general is more like the architect, and Claude Code is more like the, the foreman. It like does the execution a little bit more.
Got it.
And so I could bring up, well, no, I've never done this at the same time, but let's give it a shot. Oh, there we go. So I have two different AIs right now setting up, like working on the same scene together. And you can even break that out into agents that are like taking on separate pieces of it.
That's very interesting. Yeah, the idea of digital workers, right? That can kind of do different tasks on the scene for us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, there's parts of this that I would be able to do faster manually, of course. But if I'm setting up, and also like just from an organizational standpoint, it's quite impressive. Um, there are a lot of aspects of it that are, like this might be the future. Like,
Thank you so much for showing your ongoing development for us, Joseph. I appreciate you
yeah, no
bring
problem.
us to your home studio and showing up your tools. So the scene that you have open there, do you want to apply the HDRI there?
Oh, well, I mean, not for this
Not really?
particular
Oh, okay.
scene. I feel like there are, this is, it's not really necessary for this particular
Meant for that.
item. Yeah.
Okay.
But do you have any questions about like working with assistants and Houdini?
Let's see. We have a couple people mentioning on the chat. That's pretty sweet. Does it learn your style, for example, if I create my Solaris stages a certain way every time?
Yeah, that's actually kind of the big selling point, is that with persistent memory, you're not revisiting and rebuilding each session. Like you are building on top. So, what you built this week, you come back to it next week, you're improving it. A lot of the problems with like earlier AI systems, especially with assistants like this, is that you were starting from scratch again. And it's only recently, that it's become something that you can, stack up and build. And that's kind of the beauty of using something with persistent memory.
That's very cool. And I'll tell you that, like, especially me as a teacher, I teach different classes and I teach somewhat. Every semester I change a little bit, but there are concepts that I always teach.
Mhm.
So I try to make a bot or a simple assistant by just grabbing my transcripts of my classes and placing them on Notebook LM. But I wonder and then my students can actually go to the Notebook LM and talk with it.
Yeah.
And basically they can just kind of hear from my words
Well,
about
that's
Houdini.
the crazy part, if we're really going to get into this, is that just like you can talk to ChatGPT on your phone, you could essentially talk to your Houdini scene now in this workflow. I don't have it set up for that right now because, getting the persistent memory part was actually pretty labor intensive. But having it work with your Houdini scene in that way isn't that far-fetched. It's simply linking it up to whatever vehicle would do voice. But still having, whatever flavor of assistant you're into, this will do that. And you can train it on, whatever your documentation is. Let's say you have a Vex library of scripts or Houdini scenes that you've been compiling, and it's just sitting on a hard drive. Now you use those to learn your style. Or one thing I'm still working with is I used to work as a photographer, and I made a database of all the film photography I've done. And I'm taking that and turning it into like lighting knowledge for CG scenes.
That's very exciting. People in the chat are reacting to what you're saying. Let's see. We got someone saying that's absolutely amazing and awesome. And Gilly also has a question for you. Is it
Sure.
possible to have you running in the background like I do my artistic work, and when I need an assistant help, he can just kind of move and take over the context?
Yeah, that's more on the agent side, which is totally possible, but it kind of depends on your comfort level with like technical versus like Claude desktop. I mean, OpenAI has their thing. I mean, there's a million different ones, but I use Anthropic stuff a lot. Claude desktop is more conversational. Claude code is more like, command line. You're like, and I think if I was running a bunch of agents, I would probably do it from Claude code. But there's no reason to say that, I'm in the middle of like setting it up for this kind of stuff, but having it, a bunch of agents, I don't even know what the task is yet, but just like basically I looked at it as if, I've worked in big pipelines. I'm sure everybody on this thing has, but if you can distill that to like your own personal projects, you have you're working on a short film or something, and you want to try 3 different agents on different tasks. Well, I mean, then you're directing it. It's that's not a bad thing.
That's true. And you know what? It's bringing me the idea. Basically, I saw a paper at SIGGRAPH. Maybe I can even share that here, which is it's very cool because I'll even share my screen real quick. Basically, I met the researcher who created ControlNets, and I met some of their PhD students. And one of the PhD students, Zhang Wei, he created this idea called Hollywood Town. And basically, why is it called Hollywood Town? Because you just start from a prompt, but then it creates a swarm of agents that they can create different prompts, create different tasks, and just run a studio.
That's actually Swarm is default now in the latest Claude model. So it's like part of the default. You just have to know how to prompt it.
Wow. And let me show you this. Basically, he was like, it's called HollywoodAI orchestration. So we have a researcher, and then he creates a writer, a designer, a composer.
That's like part of what I've been working on, orchestrating tasks.
Exactly. I've been dying to kind of dive inside of this paper, but it's very cool.
It's very like cutting edge. There's not a lot of people doing it.
No, and I'll tell you, that's kind of what I felt when I was there in Hong Kong. Basically, they have like so many researchers and PhD students that are already into diffusion, like hands deep. They do have an edge, and I was very impressed. Oh, and okay, where you want to go next, Ibrahim? we're about to reach like almost like 40 minutes of conversation.
Yeah.
How you feel about it?
I mean, honestly, like I'm good with where we are. It was really about like introducing concepts. Like I'm a big fan and big advocate of people experimenting with these AI technologies, not necessarily generative AI, just generative AI, but like doing, creating your own pipeline, basically. It's kind of an exciting time in that regard because it's, for the longest time, whenever I work on a personal project, I'm like, oh, shoot, like, what do I have to bribe my friend with to animate this shot? And it's like, now it's like, oh, wait a minute. I can like at least show a proof of concept for this particular thing, I mean, I'm a little bit of a generalist just because I've worked in New York for so long, but having this as an assistant and being like, hey, last week I was working on prismatic effects, and I was like, how far along do I take these samples on this render setting? Like, I want to make it look, pretty, but I'm a little conservative about my settings. And it's like, oh, you can go all the way to this number, and then just have that have that little assistant on the side. That was pretty cool.
And that's an interesting how can I say experience, like it how you're using this. And I've seen here you ask it to do something. Oh, use a rubber toy instead of a ball, so we can see how you change the shader.
Yeah, I mean, while I'm
It's
having the
using Houdini
conversation with
for
you,
us.
I
That's
just put
pretty
that
sick
in
to
and then
see.
leave it alone, and now it's like, toast in the toaster.
Well, I'm very excited that you shared that with us today here, Joseph. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks for asking me on.
All right,
Have a
I
great
gotta
day.
give it a try to this, and you can then later drop our your Synapse link on our chat, and we can kind of follow up with it. And I
Cool.
also make sure to include that in our newsletter that I'm gonna send tomorrow. So, uh, anything else you would like to touch base on regards what you prepare for us today?
No, man, I'm good. Unless you have any more questions about using assistants or lighting or anything else.
No, I think we're good. Thank you so much for showing all of that for us. Super
Cool.
appreciate it.
Have a good one, dude.
You too. All right, guys, thank you so much. I think someone here wants to get some help with the plugin. I have maybe a few more minutes that I can stay in and hang around and support that. How you guys, if you just want to ask and say what you need help with, we can just maybe take a look. And Joseph, you're more than welcome to hang around. We're gonna stay
Oh,
here.
yeah. I mean, if you got a question, go ahead.
I have a question, not really related of what you show, but more like you are a lighter
Yeah.
working with Houdini in 3D.
Yep.
Did you try to merge like um, clay rendering and ComfyUI to do like uh, texturing with ComfyUI, but directly in the render or something like that. I saw many workflow doing that, and I think it can be interesting to have your take about that.
Well, Rafa, you're more the expert in that area, I feel like, a little bit.
Yeah, I think I've been trying to get to use AI as a render engine, and I gone to some extent, basically using the ControlNets and maybe painting some masks and combining that with Quen to change images. But at the same time, it's definitely a challenge to get consistent results. And I'm
Are
also
you, sorry, a quick question. Are you doing it as in you're starting in Houdini, sending it to ComfyUI to render it, or you're doing it, you want the ComfyUI variables to render in the viewport of Solaris? Like, what's the angle that you're working with?
So I think we want to maybe see what Michael was referring about, but from
Yeah.
my end, basically, I can even share. I kind of have the example running here. But basically, it's like, oh, I have a set of mugs. That's what I did for the masters. I need to revisit that and upgrade that workflow. But the render, if I do the render, I do a normal map or I do a depth map. And then I combine that with masks. I can just say like, oh, maybe my mug needs to be metal instead of being glass. And then I can kind of ask for it to kind of swap the material, but it doesn't swap in 3D. It swaps only on the final 2D image, right? So I'm not sure if that's what Michael asking about, or for example, I saw a friend from AI and VFX, with Adrian, and he's also, for example, we rendered the depth map, we rendered the camera, so we have a flip book of it, and then we just asked Gen AI to do a first frame, right? And we style the first frame, and then we just get that first frame as a what is the name of it? We ask for that to be the first frame, and then we just have the depth or Kenny guiding the generation. So you can see the character from multiple angles. Is that what you're talking about, Michael?
I don't think it was me asking the question, but it
Yeah,
sounds cool.
it was me. It was real.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I saw many workflow doing that. So I saw like 1 month ago a guy doing an Unreal Engine viewport, like really a simple viewport render, and then he passed to the ComfyUI and adding like more realism and adding like FX, but only in the Comfy side. So it's like
Did it
a
patch
more
back
layer.
to the Unreal after it did that?
No, Unreal like was sending like render image, so it was only in 2D, but the main stuff like the camera movement was made in Unreal, the asset was created in Unreal, and then only the rendering like was inside ComfyUI, and it was like comping in ComfyUI, and
Yeah.
But
and
I got a question. So was the renderer actually a generation from Comfy, or was it actually creating materials for you and sending
no,
them back?
it was a 2D. It was 2D. So
Yeah,
it was
it sounds like it was photogrammetry, like image mapped on top of the
maybe it was like a projection. The
yeah.
guy was not really explaining how he did the stuff, but he showed like he gets the depth map of the rendering, then in ComfyUI do like
Is it kind of
some canny.
I mean, this is embarrassing because I just started with this stuff, but is it kind of like this kind of thing where on the left here I have my like viewport of balls, and then I'm sending that to Comfy, and then it's mapping back onto it? It's basically using ControlNet with the depth channel.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's
Pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what it
What's
sounds
cool
like that's
about it
exactly what
is that it's like a live link to Solaris. Like that's what I love about it. So like I can go into, I can go into that Comfy, the thing that Rafael made. I can go in there and change my prompts and everything, and then it automatically will send it back no matter what my camera's doing, which is really nice.
cool.
It's like
Insane.
a really
Okay. Okay, so you use like the component graph like directly. How did you get like the live render inside ControlNet? It's like expression.
So I haven't done that yet. I'm actually working on that today.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So you mean like controlling where the specular highlights hitting it and stuff, right?
No, I mean like you have like the live render nodes in Houdini
Yeah.
with Solaris. Uh,
Yeah.
how did you get this render directly in ControlNet to have the result? Uh, you didn't. It was just a render, and on top on that you use Comfy, or
I mean,
I'm not sure.
like I said, it's not. Let me just share it again. So like, it's not that advanced. It's not advanced at all. So, are you guys seeing my screen? So it's just this simple It's just this simple scene that has these, an HDRI with the balls on it, and then I'm sending that into, into here, as a live link. I'm reading that in as a live link instead of a file. I'm just reading the viewport in from Solaris.
And the live render is has
this is
like
a Solaris node, exactly.
Yes,
so
the live render has like a link address link also.
Yeah, exactly. So in here,
that's smart. Okay.
Exactly. So that's like I said, it's nothing crazy, but that's how I'm doing it, and it's working. So it's pretty cool. One of the questions I had was about the animation, about moving the camera. Like, I think it'll work. I haven't tested it yet, but I assume that if I do an animation with the camera, we'll feed back in those frames. But the consistency thing is what I was worried about, and it sounds like what Joseph was developing could help with that, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
the thing is, there's okay, so this is actually one part that I left out. Is everybody still listening? Okay.
Oh yeah, we are.
Yeah. So, Rafa, what we were talking about before about RAG and like hooking up a RAG system into like an AI element is that I'm cheating a little bit in that I created like a RAG thing from documents and then I fed that in. And so, there's multiple ways to do that. You can also have it just without a RAG system stuck in there. But having that assistant work through cop networks is not, it's not a bad way to go about it. It's like a live assistant that can walk you through stuff like that.
And that's kind of what I was playing with Codex, is having these AI systems create the nodes for me, right? Which is so powerful. It is, because then you can kind of ask it to replicate a paper for you, and it just kind of plugs in it for you. So it just shows Houdini.
I mean, I think the thing that I have yet to really have a decent demo, but I'm starting to scratch the surface on, is having wedging and tops work with agents, and that could be quite exciting to
Hell yeah. I think I want to go back to what Michael was showing. So let me just kind of have a go on that conversation. I have different ideas about this, and I also kind of stumped up on hardware. But that's kind of where the using as a render engine is like something that I'm very curious about and very interested in. So I want to show, for example,
can you just take a high level, using it as a render engine? How?
I'll show you guys. So I have this early example from last year for image conditioning. Okay.
Sure.
And another example, just before we dive in there, like from Adrian, which is kind of, I don't know if you guys can hear the sound, but let me just mute it. But once you have a flip, and that goes to what Gilad was also mentioned. Once you have a flip book, you can use video to video techniques to rescreen or reshade whatever you created. You're not going back to 3D with that data. Of course, you can right? But you're using.
I love your example.
And that Adrian is a great guy, and I love this generation that he created. You see, and you can see how it's consistent. So the idea here is that you can use Gen AI image systems to generate those first frames and last frames, and then you're using the depth map by Kenny Edge and other maps to combine with the video AI model, and then you get the consistency. So for example, with the example on this is one example that doesn't have consistency, okay? It's just a Solaris scene. And here I can go and look through my camera, and I did render a frame, okay? And this frame does have a little bit of information. It has my depth, it has my color, some normals. So what I can do here is say, hey, I have a ComfyUI graph. Can you guys see my screen? And basically what we're doing here is that I'm prompting to get a change of scenery. I'm using a ControlNet with the depth. And what I end up here is that I can blend the two images and you can have a lot of control, right? This is one part of this example. And if I have like, if I'm rendering Solaris as a, let's see if it's not going to catch on fire in my computer. But if I have a Slapcomp block or a FX Slapcomp, because I haven't played with the live render yet, but on a Slapcomp block, FX Slapcomp block, and I, for example, I just rendered this guy. So that's going to kind of fire up my Slapcomp block. So it's here. And I can go to my block end. And now if I'm actually doing, for example, I'm bringing my AOVs, right? So let's render that one more time. So now it's going to render all my AOVs. And now I have the image here. Now it all goes in here. And now I can, for example, from here, where's my depth? Grab my depth. And my output can actually go into my image. If I'm looking through here and enable Slapcomp to visualize it, oh, it doesn't work. It's not working. Why is it not working? I didn't do that on the newest Houdini, but usually if I just enable this button, I should be able to see the block end. Oh, here you go. All right. So now you can preview your outcome of your network as the viewport, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I could come here and change to a different prompt, and I can just kind of plug it in, the new prompt, and let's just kind of render that, for example. Let's just kind of go for it here, and I can hit compute. So that's going to talk with ComfyUI. It's going to re-render my scene. But I'm going to change the camera a little bit, and you guys are going to see that probably you're not going to hit consistency. So we can use this technique here to preview or generate the first frame we would like. Then I would have to render this as a sequence, and using ComfyUI as a image-to-image restyling, I can then get this new scene animated as a video, right? Similar to what Adrian is doing on his example, which is pretty awesome. But just with an AI image-based model, everything is a seed, or that's kind of how far I got on my understanding, is like everything is a seed. So if the depth map changes, if the normal map changes, or the how close you are to the cups, everything can affect your seed, because everything is a seed. So it's very hard to get consistency from models who are not trained on consistency. And as I get the new image and I change the camera angle, you guys are going to see that we're probably not going to hit the same image, even though we're not
that's
changing.
Kind of like the same thing I was talking about earlier about consistency between different variables, and that some of the generative AI, like LLM stuff, is actually applicable to consistency in image generation.
Fun. I want to see how that would behave here then. But let's just try. I think that's what kind of Maxwell is going for the next point, right? What happens when I change camera? For my previous experiments, I'm going to get a completely different image. But then if I'm using something like a Quen multi-angle view or even a video generation process, then I'm more able to get the same image, but from different angles. And that's something I haven't got there yet, but it's very interesting.
Well, it's fairly new.
It is, but I've seen other creators already having a dab on that.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of here, I need a stronger hardware in the today to make this happen.
Yeah.
But Michael, is that around the idea you're asking about? Is that?
That's exactly what I was after. And actually, that was going to be my question, was like, is that randomness on the seed inside the latent space that's causing the problem? Like, because it's not on the right. That's the seed that's the issue. It's not on the sampler or anything like that.
I think that from the point that I understood is everything is a seed. Beyond just the seed of the can sampler, how the depth map was rendered, right? Everything like that, it is going to impact you. So for example, here I have like this fixed seed. This is not going to change. So let's just kind of change the image that I'm rendering, okay? So I'm just going to go here and look, oh, we crashed. Let's go and try again. That's kind of one of the things, like that's the limitation I was mentioning to you guys. Like it's just a little bit too much to ask the system. So I'm gonna try one more time, and you're gonna see how as I change the camera location, it's also gonna look a little bit. It's not gonna keep the resemblance. So right now,
if you open up the same scene, render it again, are you getting the same result?
oh yeah, most likely yeah.
Okay.
So we can just kind of, but if I change the camera position, then it just won't.
Okay.
So I'm even gonna, for example, I'm just gonna hit one more time here, minimalist chicken marble, kitchen. So we're gonna try this again. And I just want to make sure, for example, we are running RioViz for.
Do you ever use, this is like a sidebar kind of question. Do you ever use like an assistant, like a coding assistant with ComfyUI, like directly?
Not yet.
Are you launching ComfyUI from the CLI, or are you doing it like how do
No,
you...
we are always looking as manually launching it.
Okay. But you're launching it from Comfy Cloud, or you're launching it from your desktop?
No, it is on my desktop. It is on my actual laptop. The same laptop I'm doing everything, like
Okay.
controlling the call and everything else. It's the one I'm.
Cool.
I usually have a different machine. I have a second machine, but honestly, I need to work a little bit more on them. They are not behaving as they should. Those machines are just not working so well.
I have a question about like why you use AutoDepth beside like the CG render depth. Is it like because it's not the CG depth is not well remapped for the...
Oh yeah, look at this. That's how it looks. The
Yeah.
depth map is just a white. So this guy is just averaging it.
Well,
So
would
we
it
can
still
actually see.
work though at 32 bits, or does it need to be remapped for it to work?
It needs to be remapped because in the end of the day, the ControlNets just looking at it as a flat image is not gonna see the values if it's not visually there, I believe.
So why you don't use like because right now in the CG it's full white, but you can do like a normalize to have like the
This
same
auto depth
results.
one it's all CG. That's not AI.
It's all CG. Oh, okay. I was thinking
Okay.
it was
No,
AI
this auto
stuff.
depth is not like I'm not running a depth anything for it, for example. It is
It's just
just average. And it's average for still images. If this was animated, it wouldn't work. So look, this is the image that we generated before, right? So I'm just gonna even save this file real quick, and I'm gonna slightly rotate the camera around and slightly up. So if we look again, oh, I need to lock the camera. So I'm gonna lock the camera. I'm gonna just swap it a little bit, okay? So it's a
So if you
different
had
angle.
different third-party renderers besides XPU, would it render just the same? If it was like Material X or something like that?
Oh, it is Material X that we are rendering with.
Okay, but like if you threw another render engine in there in your like installed, I don't know, VREF or something.
Slapcomp actually Slapcomp work only on Karma actually right now, but I think it's gonna change in the future.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
So we're gonna generate a new image, for example, using the same seed, the same prompt, but the depth image has changed. So let's see how close we're gonna land to this original image, right? Maybe I'm gonna kind of take a screenshot real quick of this, just so we can save it. Hopefully, yeah. I don't know why this guy is just taking a while. Oh, I'm doing OBS as well. So I'm gonna stop recording here from OBS. So Giles was asking, yes, there's some issues also generating the ControlNet like that map. the depth map of the CG needs to be remapped to have it working. Yeah. You got to remap the CG part, and also you got to flip the distances. What does that even mean? Basically, by default, it's going to give you black on close and white on the back, and you want to have white on the back. And
so you're just using an invert to do it?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yes. So you guys can see that we twisted the image, and now we got completely 3 different mugs, right? Now they have different colors. So that's the issue with AI image models. Everything's a seed. So although my noise stays the same and the K-sample seed was the same, because the input changed, there is no consistency. So to counter that, we need to, nowadays, we either need to, I saw 2 pathways. Well, we move directly to video AI models. And then you just, again, doing the first frame and then animating the first frame with the video to video style. Or we are using QuenEdit, right? And QuenEdit can handle a little bit better these changes. Let me show you what I mean by QuenEdit. QuenEdit multi-view.
Don't they have workspaces in Comfy setup, like by default?
They might.
Workflows.
And look at this one. So basically, this guy has a node that's sending distance to the camera and also position around it, X and Y. And this is feeding into a LoRa that is trained on consistency. And combined, the information of the position goals of the camera and this LoRa, you're able to get multi-view consistency. So in this workflow, I believe I would have this initial setup to define the first frame, and then I would have another one that would be that multi-view angle, right? And then that multi-view angle, I would be able probably to pipe in the more of the data, camera data, so you can kind of have more control. Again, I haven't tested. This is just some assumptions based on what we're going with the conversation.
No, I've actually seen people set it up on my LinkedIn feed where they're experimenting with the multiple camera angles. What I wondered is like how much control you have on lens variables.
Very little, very little, unless you have an AI model trained to understand all of
that. I'm not going to comment.
I want it.
Michael, so I'm very interested in just getting started with the ControlNet part. I highly recommend you kind of also checking out Quen to make these edits and maybe playing around with the video models. And just for you guys to maybe just illustrate a little bit, I think we can do 2.13C, which is Unity-C, I believe, which is a ControlNet for video that is trained on camera motion. Okay, not so much camera profiles.
How'd you hear about that? That's like really in the weeds with your model. I think I've seen 1, 2 stuff, but 3C.
I wanted to find like an example for it. Let's see if there's some example here. So yeah, that's one animate is also very powerful. You can provide a close-up of your camera. Your rig in a video is going to animate that for you. Very powerful. Not so much about camera motion. Recan Master is this idea of like swapping the camera a little bit. So it's a different version of the base model trained for a specific purpose. Let's see what else we have here. I'm not sure what we're looking at. This is the swapping part that we can do, but yeah, I want to just see the Unity-C. Unity-C, let's see where we go for that. Unifying precisely 3D enhanced camera. So there you go. That's the base. That's the paper. And that's the GitHub. Yes, I found what I wanted. So that's Unit 3C.
Oh, cool. Oh,
So I think the same image can be restyled differently, and you get a Gaussian out of it. Oh, I don't want to keep
yeah,
talking.
that's what I was
I don't
looking
want
at, the big
to
display.
say anything that is not right. But it's animate anyone under any viewport. So I haven't seen so much of this implemented to ComfyUI. So I cannot wait to give it a try. But you do need stronger
Yeah,
hardware. That's
it's
true.
pretty new, this one, I think. What do you think about like if we segment our scene, because it's a CG render, we have already all the path, like the crypto math and everything. If we put like every assets, like naming with good naming, like, okay, this is a mug with a prompting mug and everything. And it's because it's CG, we have already all the crypto math. Maybe we can have more control of the consistency with all this information.
And I think you're right on the money. Like one of my secret wishes was that I could train a LoRa on primitive Rs, like different maps of colors or like even positional paths. And I'll show you why, because I believe that could help a lot. But for example, this talk that I had, this is the experiments I did for my master's, and it's pretty much what you're mentioning here. So basically, I was rendering prim vars or UST vars, super primitive, and then you create that mask, and then you can target, and you can swap, and can have prompts just for the mugs, right? So here I'm swapping just the background, or here swapping the background and adding a little bit of texture to these mugs. So you could definitely use on your masking setup the variables of USD, but because I'm doing what I called cumulative edits, I never have full control of lighting. So although we re-rendered the background, I didn't add a lighting path to fix the lighting of the mugs. So although we have some cool shadows, the mug's still very much bright and lit, just like my CG render. So I seen about IC Relight. IC Relight could help me on this. I haven't tried. But that's what we are looking for, right, in the future, being able to make those edits and also see the lighting change in real time. That is super sick.
Yeah.
But just to bring this conversation to you, Gilles, like you can do, but the place where I stopped my development, unfortunately, was just okay. The lighting doesn't change, so now how do I fix the lighting? I was able to fix the lighting a little bit, but it's not super clean, and the quality wasn't also the best. So
So
there's
maybe
that.
like back and forth, like you have your render, then you reproject in CG, and then you redo your lighting. Yeah, it can be a mess.
It can be. So I think it's just a matter of getting a pipeline working for that and testing more things. I don't think
Yeah.
we are very far from it. And maybe I want to show one more example, something that I tried to get it running, couldn't get it running. But let's see if I can remember what it is, just to show you guys as well. Let me take a look here real quick, because I think I have on my documents folder. Because I was trying to get this one working. Codecs, no. Not light shot. VerseCrafter, okay? So Tencent came up with this one for now, just recently. And VerseCrafter is this idea of dynamic realistic video world models for 4D worlds. And they even, because I was there and I asked them to release the Blender example, and they did, but I couldn't get
Is
it
that
working.
basically a world model?
It's not a world model.
Okay.
What they have world models, Tencent they do have that.
Yeah.
What they are offering here is the following. You create the camera or the image. That's the real image. This guy is going to create a depth and some segmentation masks and some 3D Gaussians of objects on your scene. And then you can animate these blobs in Blender and even get the camera. And this new information gets sent to the system and then can animate all objects and the camera while keeping everything consistent and no hallucination. And it uses the base AI model, which is 1.2.1, to make this happen. So here, this is the ultimate example already working. It is in Blender. You're moving objects in 3D, and you're grabbing that data and applying to the system. That is so powerful, but
Oh,
yeah.
but did you know it says it's built on grounded SAM 2?
Yeah.
SAM 3 is out now.
Yeah, and this doesn't change much the fact that SAM3 is out. It's just that all these technologies, that basically what does it need to make this consistent?
Yeah.
It needs a depth map, a segmentation masks, and a way to create Gaussians per object.
Oh.
And how you get there, you can change. For them, they did Moji, Ground SAM, and VideoX Fun. But you can kind of get there in different ways. But that paper is like super exciting.
What was the name of the paper again?
VerseCrafter. I'm gonna post here on the chat.
Cool.
I almost got it working. But it wasn't. For one afternoon, that was the time that I had, so I couldn't get it passed through.
One problem with Gaussian video, it's really become like heavy because it's like a lot of texture in your whole. It's not a texture, but it's like you have one frame is gonna be like I don't know how much, and because it's animate, it starts to be really big if you need to have a whole sequence. So that's an issue with the Gaussian splatting, but this look really promising.
Interesting. I was wondering myself how heavy are Gaussians, if they're that light or they're super heavy. Interesting point. I'm gonna definitely take a look on that. Because that's something I want to understand. How does it compare? Guys, we are close to 3:30. Anyone need some more help with anything specific with the plugin today? Michael, you good for your explorations?
I do have one question for you if you can answer it. So
yeah,
again, it's pretty basic, but hopefully maybe you can tell me. So I want to use two control nets. I want to use one for depth, for using the depth control net, and then I want to use another control net for scribble that I can then place like decals and stuff accurately, like using Comfy. So any idea how to use multiple control nets inside your plugin?
Yeah. You can use just like any applications in ComfyUI. So for example, I'm going to share my screen real quick. You should be able to see my screen.
Yep.
So can you see it?
Yeah.
You're going to see different things or different applications of ControlNet, for example. In this scenario here, and things that I saw in different setups, I can just have, for example, my first one being, wait, because it's having a hard time. I'm even going to close ComfyUI. But basically, you could as simple as going here, positive, positive. And this, if let's say this is your depth, that's going to be your scribble. And you can just fit in like this. And the difference here is just grabbing a different node of set control union. The first one can be the depth. The second one can be the Kenny. The Kenny one, right? And that's pretty much how you're gonna roll about that. So that's one way. You can just have a second control net taking those inputs, and then you're just accumulating data on that. This can work. But the second way you can do is that you can kind of combine your both images, like combine image blend from ComfyUI or image combine. So let me see which one. And basically, you can combine both and just send in one control net. But that I've seen working with video models, not with image models. And
Okay,
I'll
because I
give
was wondering about the prompting. Like if I wanted to have prompting on the two control nets separately. So I wanted two sets of prompts, one for the depth that was being used, piped into the depth control net, and then one that was being used for the scribble. Is there, or would I just include all the instruction inside one set of prompts?
you're gonna have to experiment. I think in this scenario here, what I seen, for example, is I haven't seen people editing the text prompt after they go through apply ControlNet.
Hmm.
So, but I don't know if you can't. I think it's worth the shot. Basically, these are conditions, and you can do a condition combine or condition combine. So you can combine multiple conditions. For example, this one, and maybe you can bring this again, right? So here you're going to be inject a second prompt, right? This can be your second prompt, and then this can kind of now go back to your second control net. I don't think that's a legal movement. I don't know the impacts of what that would have, but if I go and show you the example of a friend, I'll show you what it's doing. Or what from what you're telling me, what I might recommend is that you have one ComfyUI run to do your first pass, and you have your second ComfyUI run to do a second pass. And on the second pass, you have a mask where you want to apply things, or you have your new prompts in your new control net. Does that make
Yeah,
sense for
exactly.
you?
That's where I was going with it. I was thinking, like in your example with the mugs, if you wanted to put artwork on those mugs, right? You have AI generate a bunch of artwork that would go on those mugs, for example. I was leaning towards doing completely two different setups for it, but I was wondering if there's a way to do it all in one tree inside the compound.
You probably can, but I haven't had a chance with that. The way I found to have control was kind of having multiple workflows, but I don't think that is the most updated way of doing this. So you can definitely experiment with it. And for example, what Eamon is doing here, look, basically we combine the canny, the depth, and the control net all in one image. And we just ask the ControlNet to process it because the video AI models or the video control nets, they are trained in looking at all of these maps in one input.
That's cool.
Okay. So you're just running, for example, a HW pose and a depth, and you're just combining both images with some overlay, and then you're feeding that to the AI video model. I think we gotta try something, right? And then we see what works.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, Michael. Sorry, I don't have the experience to actually give you a proper answer on that, but it's a hint. Fun, guys. All right, so Michael, I hope that helped. I hope you guys had a good time today, and we meet on next Sunday. We don't have a guest yet for next Sunday, so I'm gonna keep an eye on what people are gonna do in the community this week. I have a few friends that I want to bring over, so I'm gonna talk with them, and we see what's up.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Super helpful, super happy that you host you in, Joseph. I'm very excited to see where all this research is going to land.
Yeah, let me
And
know if you have any questions after the fact. I'm, I'm
oh, yeah,
around.
do you want to share your socials? Do you want to share your LinkedIn or whatever? Feel free.
Oh,
that's your chance to do your shameless plug.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. You can find me on LinkedIn. Actually, LinkedIn is probably the best because I'll be posting all the Git published stuff, and that's going to be coming pretty hard and fast lately.
Hell yeah.
So my LinkedIn is just Joseph Ibrahim. And I'll paste it in the chat.
Opa, Walter, valeu aí por comparecer e prestigiar com a gente, cara. Tamo junto. Oh, sorry. I was just someone saying on the chat Portuguese. I just tried up starting Portuguese. Sorry, guys.
No apology necessary.
Okay, Joseph. Okay, Joseph just got our link for LinkedIn there. That's awesome. Any other link you would like to share with us, Joseph? Anything else?
No, just reach out if you have questions about using an assistant in your
Let's go.
in your setup.
That's awesome, guys. And if you enjoyed the work we're doing on the Discord, consider joining our membership on Ko-Fi. If you guys can check it out there, it's on our Discord, and we got some files. I'm going to be uploading more files this week, the files that I shared on SIGGRAPH. So make sure you keep an eye on that, or just go there and follow us there, because that already helps us a lot. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today, and Ibrahim and everybody else here, and have a lovely weekend, guys.
Have a good
Bye.
one. Bye.